This is Jungle King 007 with another video on the Ford Focus. Today we're going to be doing a coolant exchange. This vehicle has 86,000 miles, but I believe it has hit the 5-year or whatever the book says. So we're going to do a fluid exchange. This should be pretty simple. First things first, you want to take the cap off so you can let this breathe as the fluid is draining. Next we're going to go underneath and we'll find the drain plug, which is actually all the way over here on this side of the vehicle. Go underneath. Okay, so this right here is the drain plug on the radiator. This, for me, what I can see appears to be the only place that you can pull the radiator fluid out of, or at least let it drain out of. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to reposition myself, because what I've done is I put a hose on this little nipple to the side and allowed it to come up and over so it's not draining onto the skid plate. Didn't really want to pull this off because it looks like there's at least a lot of bolts, and I really don't want to pull this thing off, so we're going to redirect it through this hose. Now let me reposition myself, because the hose is staring right at me, so if I were to open that up I'd get a face full of coolant. Alright, let's go ahead and loosen this. Oops, I'll tighten it. Loosen this baby up. And I'm doing this blind because there's a pan in the way. But once you get it loose, you should be able to loosen it unthread it quite easily. There we go. And we'll just let that drain for a bit. So we're done draining. We're going to go ahead and tighten that baby back up. We're going to fill it back up. What I'm going to do first, I don't have any cleaner this time. All I'm doing is just a straight flush of distilled water. So I'll be adding just distilled water on this one. We're going to run it, and then we're going to drain it again. So it's very simple to do. Just fill the thing up, fill the reservoir up until you see it filled. No bubbles coming out, or at least you don't hear it draining anymore into the radiator. Run your vehicle up to operating temperature. Usually it takes about 10-15 minutes to do that. Let it sit for a few minutes to cool down, and then we're going to do a second drain to get all that stuff. So I'm actually going to cut to that, and I'm going to skip right into the second drain. Use some funnels so we don't make a mess. About right here, right on this line. Seems like we got all the bubbles out. Let's go ahead and start it. Sure it's on high. Doesn't matter what, as long as it's on max. It's a hot day, so it's going to get really toasty in here. Now we're going to let it run for about 10-15 minutes. Then we're going to shut it off and then repeat the drain. so this is after probably 5, 6, maybe 7 drain and fills. Basically letting it run about 10-15 minutes in between, then draining it, and then filling the coolant reservoir again. As you can see, let's pan over here real fast to all the containers where I've been collecting the stuff. Top right here, that's probably the first one, maybe 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, somewhere in between there. But you can see the progression of how it's getting lighter and lighter. And then this very last one, as you can see, obviously it's a black container, but that is perfectly clear. So at this point, basically what's in the vehicle is nothing but distilled water. In this container, it's measured to be about 3 quarts has been taken out. The vehicle itself takes about, I believe, 6.3. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to put this back first. You're going to have gotten yourself some concentrate. This is the Motorcraft stuff, Ford specific. For this vehicle, it's VC-7-B coolant. They're concentrate gold. We're going to pour this directly into the reservoir. And what's going to happen here is we're going to fill up what's not in there anymore, basically what's in the radiator, and we're going to let the vehicle run. It's going to mix itself in the vehicle, in the reservoir, in the engine, in the heater core, basically everywhere. So it'll basically dilute itself. But the main part of the game now was pretty much just getting it to straight distilled water in the system. All right, let's go ahead and fill it. Get all the air pockets out. And then I'm going to drive it for a little bit, just to get everything mixed. As you can see, it's still slowly pushing itself through. Just let the air pockets do its own work and come out by itself. Fill it a bit. So that's about 3 quarts already. And we're in the cold range. Right at the cold range. Go ahead and just fill it to the top. Let's start her up. At this point, go ahead and check for leaks. Check where you're draining out of the radiator. Check all your hoses just to make sure everything is all nice and tight if you took anything else off. At this point, just let it run for a few minutes. Mine's on jacks, so I'm gonna have to take it off the jacks. I'm gonna drive it for probably about 15-20 minutes just to get everything moving, get everything nice and hot, get everything mixed. I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna check the level, top it off with distilled water. Or you can top it up with the rest of the coolant. I think I've got a little bit left, but basically you want to try to make sure that it is that 50-50 mix. Or if you get yourself one of those little testers, make sure it tests in the area, tests pretty much correctly for your area. I'm going to make sure that it is running right around the -40 protection level. So this should get you back up and running. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. If you have any comments, questions, feel free to post them. This is Jungle King 007. Have a great day. Alright, so while we're letting this run, I wanted to do a quick test because I'm curious as to how well this coolant is going to hold up in the cold. There is a way to test this. You can get these little kits. Actually, this one's a pretty old one from Napa, but really all it does is, if I'm not mistaken, measures the density of the coolant, and it will tell you at what the boiling point is and what it is safe to. Now, this little one has 5 little balls. Each one corresponds to a degree of protection. All 5 is -40, 4 is 25, 3 is -10, and then so on to none, which is unsafe. So basically, if they're like this in the fluid, then that basically means it needs to be changed. So I want to test this real quick. Let's pull a little bit out of here. All 5 balls are floating, which indicates this was pretty much brand new. Probably be a good idea before you even consider doing a coolant change to test this stuff. I'm actually going back to the Motorcraft type of fluid, hence the reason why I'm doing a couple flushes in between just to get out because this looks like it's just a standard glycol stuff, which is not recommended for this vehicle. It is the Motorcraft Gold VC-7-8, but double check your coolant before you do anything, just to make sure you actually need to spend the time and the money.